Where are the rest of these troops at? There's one. Come on, mate. Just hurry up and die, please. Hello, ladies and chaps, and a jolly good welcome to you. I am Curtier. Thank you very, very much for joining me for this live commentary recording from HELIBORNE. And today we are flying out in the CH-47 Chinook, or to be more specific, the ACH-47 Chinook, which is the sort of armed up gunship version of the helicopter. Similar sort of concept to the AC-130 Hercules, the flying artillery platform, basically. Built by Boeing, seen service in somewhere in the region of 17 countries. I believe it's 17 countries I counted. What's my objective? Okay. Yeah, seen service in around about 17 countries. Several different versions designed and built and produced. Just let me concentrate on gunning down all these chaps first before I carry on spieling. Came into service in the 1960s, 62 I believe. First flew in 61. Go on, gunners, do your stuff. Capable of carrying 33, somewhere in the region of 33 to 55 men, depending on their loadout. Obviously, the more kit they got, the less it can carry. But 55 men, that is pretty much 1/3 of a company. So it would only take 3 of these to carry an entire company of troops to wherever it is they're needed. Right, capture landing zone 8. So let's head over to landing zone 8 now. So yes, up to 55 troops, or somewhere around 24,000 pounds of cargo. I believe that's over 10,000 kilograms of cargo. So it has huge bags of power. Absolutely, yeah, it's an absolute beast. A real workhorse. Now I'm going to talk about a very specific Chinook in service with the Royal Air Force. I believe it's still in service now. It's designated Bravo November. That's its sort of like name, I guess you could say. This helicopter came in service in the 80s, 82 I believe, and saw service in the South Atlantic, in the Falklands, Iraq, both times in Iraq I believe, and also in Afghanistan. Now there's a reason why I've picked this specific helicopter to talk about, because it has a bit of a service history. In the Falklands, it was one of 4 Chinooks that went down aboard the Atlantic Conveyor, the merchant navy container ship. Aboard the Atlantic Conveyor as well was obviously the 4 helicopters, all their spare parts, the repair crews, the engineers to put them together basically, and all the spare lubricants, all that kind of stuff. Now, the Atlantic Conveyor and the fleet came under attack by Argentine Superentendard aircraft, basically firing exit missiles, sea-skimming anti-ship missiles at the fleet. And one of them struck the Atlantic Conveyor, probably mistaking it for one of the carriers, which was their primary target. And obviously the Chinooks went down with the ship, all but the Bravo November, which had only recently taken off to move cargo ship to ship. Just let me destroy these guys first. There we go. Yes, they're moving cargo from ship to ship when the Atlantic Conveyor was hit and sunk. Now, the Bravo November had actually been basically reassembled aboard on board the Atlantic Conveyor. The first time that had ever been done at sea. I believe it's the only time it's ever been done at sea, even now. I might be wrong there though. But yes, the Atlantic Conveyor went down with the 3 other Chinooks and all the spare parts and all that kind of stuff. So British forces in the South Atlantic were basically reduced to 1 heavy lift helicopter for the remainder of the conflict. Where are the rest of these troops at? There's one. Come on, mate. Just hurry up and die, please. So it continued to be used around the Falklands Islands for all the rest of the conflict. At one point, it actually ditched into the sea, I believe in extreme weather, and suffered some damage, including the co-pilot's door being ripped off. But the pilots and the co-pilot managed to get it back together, managed to get it flying again, and successfully landed on the Falklands at the British beachhead. And it was repaired and basically continued to be used for the rest of the conflict. The pilot was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for that, which is basically a British medal for valour, bravery, or whatever, professionalism at the hands, at the controls of a aircraft. So that was the Falklands. As I was saying, the only heavy lift helicopter to survive the Falklands and the British force there. It was the first British helicopter into action during the invasion of Iraq in 2003, landing Royal Marines in the Al-Faw Peninsula, potentially in a hot landing zone. Just saturate this area with 40mm grenades. Right, so this is Afghanistan, and this is where the Bravo November really became famous, at least amongst British military circles. And it was being used in the medical emergency response role at the time, basically a giant flying ambulance, or you could even say a giant flying freaking operating room with medics, doctors, and all that good stuff. And aboard were also a team of troops from my old regiment, providing protection to the medics and the crew and everything like that. And basically, the Bravo November was called into a very, very heavy firefight to pick up wounded soldiers. I believe they were Afghan army. I might be wrong there though. And they flew into this hot LZ. Rifle and machine gun rounds pinging off the side of the helicopter. It wouldn't surprise me if an RPG or two was probably fired at it as well. But it flew into this hot LZ. Oh crikey. Much the same as I'm about to do by the looks of it. And basically they landed, they picked up the wounded chaps, and I believe it was either as they were getting airborne or just after they'd gotten airborne and basically pulled away from the area, rounds pinging off their hull as they went. The pilot made a rather frightening announcement over the intercom. Something along the lines, and this isn't a quote, I'm not quoting him here, I have no idea what he actually said, but it's something along the lines of, "Right chaps, just to let you know, you're aware we've been shot at, and I have actually been shot in the head." Or something like that. He basically told them he'd been hit. A ricochet had pinged around the cockpit and struck him in the helmet, smashing his visor, and obviously wounding him. Flight Lieutenant Ian Fortune was the chap's name, or is the chap's name I should say. So basically he announced that landing at Camp Bastion wasn't going to be a walk in the park, it might be a little bit bumpy, and all that kind of thing. And the helicopter had obviously received damage as well to its systems, particularly the hydraulics. So they made their way back to Camp Bastion as best they could, and somehow, some Herculean effort between the pilot and co-pilot, they managed to land, and the wounded chaps were taken off and taken into surgery and all that kind of thing. The pilot was taken away for medical treatment because his head was obviously bleeding everywhere. And he received the Distinguished Flying Cross. So he was 2 out of 4 men to receive the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Royal Air, or the British pilots kind of medal for distinction, often under fire at the controls of the Bravo November. So 4 pilots received the Distinguished Flying Cross flying the Bravo November. He was one of them. This is really, really quite hard. Oh crap. Alright, I'm going to have to head back to base. Here we go. So yes, Bravo November survived that conflict as well. However, when the technicians did... oh sugar, there's more blokes over here. When the technicians did take a look at the Bravo November at Camp Bastion, they were shocked to realise that, or they were rather bemused actually, wondering how the pilot had actually managed to land the thing, because the hydraulics were so badly shot up that the control column, the control stick, was rigid. It was rock solid. It would have taken some monumental strength to basically control the helicopter, but between the pilot and the co-pilot, they managed to do it. So yeah, the pilot received Distinguished Flying Cross. I believe the co-pilot also received some kind of commendation as well. I can't remember what it was though. I forgot to mention that there was actually a film crew aboard it at the time of the action in Afghanistan. So it was actually all caught on camera. But yes, I'll see if I can find a video on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it'll be on YouTube, and I'll whack the link in the description. You might like it. It's quite an exciting video. It was a documentary about military vehicles, hosted by someone who normally hosts a documentary about cars, but he went to Afghanistan with a film crew and probably got more than he bargained for, I would imagine. So yeah, it's a good video. I'll see if I can find a link, and I'll put it in the description for you. Yeah, so that was the Chinook. I hope you enjoyed the video. Not a lot of action, I know, but the story of the Bravo November, I think, needs to be told. I really do. So I'm going to carry on doing more videos like this, picking out distinguishable and specific aircraft, specific helicopters. And as this game progresses with its patches and updates, I'll be able to show off more. I might even come back and revisit the Chinook at some point. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, please subscribe to see more, because there will be a lot more coming. If you have anything you'd like to say, any other comments to make regarding the Chinook or regarding the story I told, like I said, I will try and leave the link for the video of the documentary in the description. I don't think it's very long, it'll only be a few minutes long, so make sure you watch that. So yes, please like, please subscribe, please comment. I am Curtier. I hope you have a very nice day. I hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you and goodbye.